talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Changing Stage radio show powered by the new EnterTalk Radio.com. We are also obviously still on WS Radio networks, but we have a new network that we've launched for the entertainment business. And, we're really excited about that. And we're excited about our sponsors, Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. Calvin and the crew over there make it happen. And, of course, our really good friends over at SIR at SIR-USA.com. We've got Jim and those guys. They power the music industry, and when you're talking about touring and other things here in the U.S. I say that because today is very special. Folks, I want to introduce you to Kurt Maloo. He is from the band Double, and he has been a big influence on me with the music that he did. I came from the 80s, and you had some really, really cool tunes from the 80s. Say hello to everybody, Kurt.
Hello, everybody, and I'm calling from long distance, so maybe someone is coming in again. I don't know.
Yeah, you are calling in from Germany right now, right?
From Hamburg, yeah, right.
Awesome. Well, Kurt, we're all about the music business, and many of us have been around for quite some time. Like I said, I started in the business back in the 80s, and you were in the band Double with Captain of Her Heart as kind of a big single. Tell us, man. We always like to find out about the where the passions come from. You were originally from Switzerland. How did you get started in this music business? And where'd your desire to start playing guitar and be a singer start from?
Well, actually, my parents bought me a guitar when I was 11, and I started to play the guitar, and then I heard Jimi Hendrix. Then I wanted to burn my guitar, but then I continued, and I became a guitar player. And then we had the first bands in school, and I was the only one that was okay with being the singer, because no one wanted to sing at the time. And then maybe, 5 years later, I became a singer. And I had many bands before, punk bands. I don't know. We were already 32, Felix and I, in Double, when Captain of Her Heart came out, and we were like old pop stars already at the time,
That's not right, because you guys look so young, man. You still look so young. How do you do that? I guess it's the water over there, man.
Right, must be.
So you obviously you came from Switzerland. What was the music scene like in Switzerland when you first started? That would be a country that I have no real, knowledge of what it was like.
Of course,
we didn't have the internet, obviously, so it was it was like, geographically, everything was all geographical based. So, what was it like, man?
Well, we both came from the art scene and from jazz, actually, and this is something. It's kind of a style that we pulled through, and you hear the influence of jazz, obviously. But it was a very close scene. But there were many artists and maybe one group, from the time we were best friends was Yellow.
Oh yeah.
They had a hit like "Oh Yeah" and yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah. Oh yeah, right. But Switzerland, you have to know, is a very, very small country. We have like 8 million citizens. That's like, I know, a third of LA or something. It's like nothing. So
so influential. It's such an influential country. Yeah,
it's an influential country because it has a very high lifestyle. But Felix and I, when we created the thing, we knew that it's going to be something completely different, because we came from a different angle. Like I said, we came from jazz, but we did some pop fusion, and this was new at the time. And then from England, there were others like Sade and I don't know, Johnny Hates Jazz or whatever from that time.
I remember
that there was it became like a movement, and we went with the flow, and this is of course a reason that it was so successful, because it was just right for the time.
Yeah, and and I love that. I think that's what I loved mostly, that there was this really kind of the substance of the jazz influence, like the saxophone parts and stuff like that you had, and
they called it sophistipop.
Sophistipop. I've never heard that term. I like that. We need to bring that back, man. Yeah, there's a lot of groups, and then there's groups that are kind of it's kind of interesting how the groups from Europe were blending a lot of the music that we had lost touch with over here in the U.S. I really was appreciative of that, like the Blow Monkeys, when they brought in a lot of the brass and the kind of the soul sound. I think that movement's happening.
Blue-eyed soul,
yeah, definitely. And who were the groups that influenced you back then? What were you listening to as a kid?
As a kid, I was listening to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, of course, but then also to Jimi Hendrix. And then Miles Davis was like a big, big influence. And Funkadelic, Parliament,
nice.
the funky kind of bands. And my first group, it was called Troppo, which is Italian and means too much. And it was too much because we were 9 people. And they called... the music we made, they called art punk, because they didn't find like a drawer to put it in, so they just created that expression. But it was a fusion between everything we were listening to at the time, and it was like really spread wide, from Funkadelic to Miles Davis to Jimi Hendrix, and that was like a fusion and a wild thing. So we were developing the style step by step, and actually in the early 80s, Felix came up with this theme that is so haunting. I'm talking about the Captain of Her Heart. And it was a jazz tune actually, but we sort of produced it. Fortunately, it became a classic. So it's not really so narrow,
Yeah. And like I said, I really like the choral structure of it. It there was a substance to that song. When you hear it, it always made you go, wow, okay, let me stop what I'm doing and listen. And that was really, I thought it was a pretty powerful statement. So, let's kind of get back into into that. You were doing these different groups. You had a sophisticated a punk group, and different things. When did you meet Felix, and when did you guys go, this is what we need to do?
Well, I had a local solo career before, and then we met at a jam session, and he was a drummer. He actually was just a drummer. He also played with Yellow in the early stage, and I just liked his funky style of drumming. That was it, and we became friends. And then I asked him to play in my group, where I wrote everything, and he was just a drummer. And then we had a trio called Ping Pong, and he was just a drummer. And then all of a sudden, he started to play the piano just for fun. Like, he was still a drummer, but he played the piano. And then he became more and more a piano player and a composer. And we started to write songs together. And that was double. Okay.
And Ping Pong before that had definitely some hits, from what I understand. You guys had some things that came out. Did you start the touring process? You were doing festivals and stuff like that at that point, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ping Pong was a trio, and I mean, trio is the toughest thing for a musician, because you have to really be there all the time. You know, there's bass drums, and I played the guitar and I was singing. So the peak was we played at the Montreux Jazz, which is like the most successful festival for jazz actually, and on the big stage, and that was really great. Now,
I was going to say, at that time when you're doing all these tours, especially when you're doing, the Montreux Jazz Festival, were you thinking we're going to be big stars, or were you going, did you find some of the adversity of the road being something that weighed heavy on your thoughts and thinking this may or may not be my thing?
You know, when you start like playing in school bands, and then you
actually, Kurt, before we answer, I'm going to pause you because we're going to take a pause for the commercial. I got too enthralled in what we're talking about, man. I wasn't looking at the clock.
Okay.
So we'll be right back, folks, for the second segment of the Changing Stage radio show. Stay tuned because this is just an incredible stuff that we're getting from Kurt Maloo of the band Double. He's calling in from Germany, so this is our international connection. Also, Pitbull Audio, SIR. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
In the military, things can change in an instant. At Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. Vin Village connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Changing Stage radio show powered by the EnterTalk radio network, the leader in music biz talk. And we are here with Kurt Maloo. How you doing, Kurt?
The first...
Oh, my eyes keep...
Oh,
there it goes. Yeah,
yeah, I'm fine.
So we are back here, and we were just talking about you being on tour and, with the first group, Ping Pong. Tell us a little, you were kind of getting into it, kind of resume where we were at.
Well, we founded this trio out of like personal connections that we had, and we went quite far. We played at the end. We played at the Montreux Jazz, which is a really great festival on the big stage, and out of this trio, actually, Double was the result, because the bass player ceased to play music because his wife was like giving him a hard time. He said, "Come on, like let's do some real business." And so he left. Wow. And then we, Felix and I, we were there and looked at each other and said, "Yeah, that's Double."
Yeah, right. There's two of us. Let's be Double.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool. It kind of happens. It's. I would imagine that guy would kind of be like Pete Best from the Beatles, going, "Man, I messed up. I should have stayed with the group." Because you went on to such an illustrious career and doing many different things. We're going to talk about a lot of the new stuff in the third segment, so you guys got to stay tuned for that. But as you were starting to go into this, and you decided we're going to make this band Double. You went in and you started to cut some tracks. Where was the inspirations to you found the recording inspiration? What studios were you working in at that time?
We were working in the beginning. We were working actually also on Blue, the hit album. We were working in Cologne at the Can studio. Can was like a psychedelic band of the 70s, and they got really far.
Yeah.
And they had a cult studio outside of Cologne in Germany, and we were glad to use that because it was a one-room studio. You have to imagine you have no monitoring room. The sound engineer is in the same room like the musicians, and he just puts on some headphones that there is no there is no influence from the sound from the monitors, but you're like really intimate, and there's like a living room, and it gave us a platform to create, and it was great. And the other studio was in Switzerland. The sound engineer was Phil Carmen. You maybe know him he had a hit On My Way to LA, and we were like a good team developing something new. And there were many coincidences that helped to create the sound that finally was on our first album, Blue. Because if there wouldn't have been a Yamaha piano, a grand piano, there wouldn't be The Captain of Our Heart played on a piano. Because it was just like a coincidence that Felix sat on the piano and played the sound that was actually meant to be a demo. And he just played it on the piano. And we said, "Hey, that's it. Just leave it like it is." So, when you are creating a lot, there are a lot of coincidences. It's not always like a vision. It's also, it's life. It's like you have to go with the flow.
Yeah, you discovered it kind of happened organically. That was actually you answered the question that was popping in my head. You were answering that because I was going to say your sound was so unique. You brought in, like you said, different parts of pop, jazz, R&B. There was even some little classical stuff in there. Was that by design? And what you're saying is that just all kind of came out because people started putting stuff on it and it just started to come out. Well,
actually, the sound in the end, the sound of Double in the end is just it's a fusion of what we were listening to. It was like the music we loved, so we brought it in, and we had different roots. We came from jazz, from funk, but we are white, and that was like the fusion, just the mixture. Yeah.
Cultural dynamics, no matter how people like to look at it, do come into play. You could have an affirmation for something, but sometimes a natural connection to the cultural, the roots of that sound really kind of, it changes. It does change, and that is definitely the case here. And then you guys released that album. When you listened to it right after we always talk about doing the car test. Did you do a car test on the album where you put it in your car and you drive around the city and you're bopping your head or going, I'm not sure about that? Did you do that kind of test?
No, not at all. The record company didn't want to release Captain of Our Heart as a single because they thought it's a ballad. It's too complicated. The radios won't play it because at the time you had to be up tempo disco kind of stuff, like danceable. Yeah. And they said, oh no, it's gonna cause problems. And then fortunately, they wanted to release I Know a Place as the first single, but then when the album was about to be released, the secretaries in the record company started to whistle the theme. Like da, 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 and they couldn't get it out of their head. So the A&R guys started to believe the secretaries, and that's a good thing because women are always right. So they sort of changed their minds.
You just made a lot of ladies out there happy.
Yeah, right. and that's true. And this is a really good example of changing minds last minute. And they did it, and I'm thankful for that because they just, they built my career by changing their minds last minute. It's great.
Yeah, what happens if they did release the other song and I don't know. Yeah. Who would know? I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said that sometimes we are our lives kind of have a really big impact on the dynamics that kind of happen along the way. That's important to kind of to recognize in this. And obviously we're happy that that the secretaries were right and the A&R guys were wrong. So and what were you guys thinking? Did you guys think, oh no, were you fighting for that to be the song to be released? That was the one that you were passionate about? Or was there, like a lot of artists, there was another one that never really kind of got the attention that they would have liked, So what was your thoughts?
Both of us were always aware that this song is really special. But also we were like, okay, now danceable, okay, maybe that's not the right thing. But I'm really glad that they brought it out, and then we had the luck that we had a very big show on TV in Germany that made the song a hit in Germany, and then the UK guys from the record company were listening to the song and said, okay, that could be something for Great Britain, but Great Britain is very ignorant, and they released. We released the song here in Germany in 1985, and in January 1986 they released it in the UK without a label. They didn't say anything about us because if they knew we were coming from Switzerland, it would have never been a hit in the UK.
Why is that?
Yeah, because hits come from the UK or from the US and from nowhere else. That was the time, and they were like really, but they thought we were Americans. Okay, so from the New Musical Express with like it was the magazine at the time for the critics, and the guy in the magazine wrote in January that he heard the single of 1986 already, and then when he started to realize that we were Swiss, he couldn't step back. So it was too late, and we went top 10, and it was so cool.
the Swiss invasion, secret, undercover, right?
Undercover, camouflage.
That's too cool, man. You don't realize these dynamics, especially nowadays. Releasing an album, you don't do it in stages in different countries anymore. You just put it out on the internet and it's there. Everybody either loves it or doesn't, right?
But there were different times.
Yeah,
you had to conquer every country,
Yeah, to do it country
by country.
And here in the U.S., it was city by city back then. Hopefully, you go get a second tier city that would adopt your adopt your single, and then maybe that might encourage like a top tier city like Los Angeles, New York, to pick it up and put it like in the late night hours. But it's kind of crazy. We're actually going to be going back to our next commercial break here. Man, this is great stuff, brother. I love hearing the history because you know the music, but to learn about how it all came about has just been amazing here. This has been the Changing Stage radio show powered by EnterTalk Radio Network. We are the leader in music biz talk, and it's a awesome thing. I want to give a shout out to some of our shows. We've got Jackie's Groove that happens on Mondays at 2 p.m. here Pacific time. Make sure you tune into that. He's got Todd Zuckerman from the great group Styx going to be on, and of course Girls Talk Rock will be coming up this week as well.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, that's right. This is the third segment of the Changing Stage radio show powered by the EnterTalk Radio Network. We are the leader in music biz talk, and we are brought to you by Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. Calvin and the guys over there they're the best. They will make sure you're taken care of. They will give you the best deal possible, and they have got the incredible gear. I know that we picked up a couple of Zoom cameras from there. We've also used some of their Rode microphones, and we just get all of our gear from them, and that's why we give them a big shout out. And of course, SIR at SIR-USA.com. They are the company that powers all the touring bands, as well as any corporation that is looking at getting audio or video gear. They have it all. They've been doing it since the 70s, and every major tour, literally every major band uses SIR to power their gear, whether they're on the road or in the studio. And we are back with Kurt Maloo, the recording artist, formerly of Double, and of course he has just been an incredible infusion of music into the industry. Kurt, you back with us, sir?
Yes.
Very, very good. And we were just talking to you about, the release of that first album. And obviously, people listening, if you haven't had a chance, go to my Facebook page, whether it be, the Facebook.com/The Changing Stage. I put the video of Captain of Her Heart on there, and it's such a great tune. But you've kind of you had a few albums after that, and I'm sad to say that we lost Felix somewhere in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, right, sir?
2004, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not wanting to bring up a sad subject, but I want to make a testament and say we appreciate all the him wanting to go out there and learn how to play piano, man. That was, what would have happened if he didn't see that piano sitting over there and going, let me
don't want to think about it.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Right.
So, we really appreciate that. But, you've had such a also incredible solo career. Let's talk a little bit about some of the solo things you've done previous and then up to now, what's going on with you and all the, because you've got new tracks coming out and you've got all the things. You're still driving very hard over there in Germany. You're living in Germany now.
Right. I'm living in Germany, quite for a while now. I was living in Paris for 7 years, and then I moved with my wife to Hamburg. And I released a few albums, and last one is called What About? And just look for it. I mean, for me, it was a challenge to make a video for each song of the album. And nowadays you don't have like big budgets anymore. It's not like the US version of The Captain of Her Heart, where we spent like 5 days in Paris shooting with 10 models and all that. It's completely different. But I wanted to make a visual product for the song that is connected as close as possible. So I was producing all the videos, and they are on YouTube. You can watch them.
Yeah, it's under your name, right, Kurt Maloo?
Right, Kurt Maloo. Yeah, Kurt Maloo. That's my solo career after and before Double.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely been, the artist.
I've been around. Yeah.
You've been the artist for sure. Let's kind of give them some URLs. So you've got your own website, and what is the URL for that?
It's kurtmaloo.com.
And that's spelled Maloo, folks.
Yeah, Maloo. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So KURTMALOO.com, and then of course your YouTube page is under Kurt Maloo, so it's a separate, your name's separated there, so they can kind of find all that fun stuff. And of course, there's always the great Wikipedia. So that's where I learned a lot about you. As your personal.
And now what I learned today, we are now friends on Facebook, Florentino.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool.
it's amazing how this thing connects you with people around the world, Facebook. And,
That's wonderful.
and-
Absolutely wonderful.
And of course, you're Skyping in. So, my old employers at Microsoft would love that. I used to work at Microsoft, and they bought Skype not too long ago. But yeah, man, it's amazing. So, when you decided to go solo, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking, "This is the next, this is my next chart," or going, "What am I doing?" Because always like to know what's the state of mind of the person in that next phase of their life.
Well, when we, Felix and I, with Double, when we decided to record a third album, I was already living in Paris, and he was still in Zurich, and we didn't communicate a lot anymore. So during the process of recording the album, we realized that we had completely different a different attitude to music. He wanted to make more scenographic music, like epic, and I wanted to go back to the pop song. So we thought, okay, let's call it a day, and that was in 1989 when we disbanded Double. I went back to Paris with the song I wrote, and I made an album with a French record company, the Polygram, and it was called Single. Of course, very obvious, Double, and then it's just me, so it was Single. Okay.
Don't complicate things, just call it what it is.
Call it what it is. And from there on, I continued with my solo career, and at the end of the 90s, Felix and I went back to the studio, actually the Cannes studio that I was talking before, to see if it was possible to create something mutual again after all these years, like 10 years after. And we recorded 8 songs, and we knew it wasn't enough for an album, but it was a good beginning, and we felt very comfortable with the songs. And then at the beginning of 2000, he died, and I thought it can't be that these songs will never be released. So I was getting in touch with a producer from a new jazz band that's called D Fast. I don't know if you know them.
And I have to look them up though for sure.
Yeah, and I gave him the songs, and I told him, just look at it and look at them and do something with them if you feel like, because I don't want to touch and I can't touch them anymore, but this is material that should be released. And he did a great job. And this was the album, Loopy Avenue, actually a tribute album under my name, Kurt Maloo versus Double, it's called. And this was a tribute album to our mutual career. And yeah. For me, it was very important that this material won't get rotten in the drawer,
Yeah, and I think that was, I think that's all, really important to keep those fires burning, and as that kind of came about, what was going through your mind now that your musical partner is no longer available to you at this point. Obviously, you've had a great solo career. Your next step. Where did you want to go from there?
Well, I decided to continue to make music, and because as long as I have fun doing it, I will do it. It's not success in the big. Like on the big screen is not so important anymore as you get older, because it's more like you have a career. It's like I wrote more than 100 songs, and because of course there is the sun that is shining, it's called the captain of our heart, and when the sun is shining you don't see any stars, but if the sun is not there you would see many stars shining and being important too. It's just okay. I can live with the big thing that once happened and is like really over the top, and is also giving me the chance to do what I want to do. I mean, I'm very modest about this. You know, I love the fact that there was an Uber hit that is giving me the possibility to do what I want to do.
You know, I think that's kind of apropos to this day and time, where, you know, I don't know if Uber hits are going to be as commonplace as they once were. You know, we really there was only one platinum recording artist last year, and that was Adele, from what I understand. I think Taylor Swift came close, but she was slightly under at like 900 and something thousand for the U.S. You know, platinum is a million sales, which before that was, you know, you'd have multi-platinum recording artists every year. There would just be tons of that. And,
I know.
You know, I don't think that's.
But the really good thing is if you have the luck to have something that is really that becomes a standard. You know, that becomes a radio classic, like this song here that I'm talking about. We didn't know that by the time. Of course. It was never a number one. It was a number one in Israel, and it was a number one in Brazil, but not in the key markets. It was number 2, number 3, number 4. It wasn't like a number one hit, but it became a radio classic. What can you expect more than that? It's
definitely cemented itself in the annals of a great songwriting. We're taking another break for a pause for the cause here. We'll be right back shortly. And make sure you stay tuned because we're going to talk about the current industry trends here. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show on EnterTalk Radio Networks.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at which.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, which.com.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
That's right. This is the fourth and final segment for today. Wow, it goes really quick, of the Changing Stage radio show powered by EnterTalk Radio Networks, the leader in music business talk. And we love that because we're creating a whole network on just what we're talking about today, on the business, talking to these people who've made impacted the people who've helped define this business that we love and that we're all in. We're also all musicians here, and we've got great shows like Jackie Bertoni's Jackie's Groove, and he's been talking to so many great people. There's a great show from Al Di Meola on his archives. You guys got to take a listen to that. Some really funny, fun stuff to listen there. Stories about Carlos Santana, about David Crosby, about Tower Power. I mean, just all these incredible history of information there. Girls Talk Rock. They've had Michael O'Neill from George Benson, and you want to take a listen to there. We've also, there's the annals of what we did at our good times over at NAMM this past year. So make sure you take a listen to that. I want to also give a shout out and thanks to our good friends over at Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, and of course SIR at sir-usa.com. They help keep the lights on because they really are taking care of us that way. They are our sponsors. And I've been talking with Kurt Maloo of the band Double, and of course as a tremendous solo career, operating now out of Germany and Hamburg, and he's been just I'm a big fan, man. I'm just and it's funny because you start off these interviews as a fan, and then you learn the history and the passions behind all of that stuff, and it just takes over your heart a little bit, man. So
that's great. Yeah.
You're the captain of my heart right now, Mr. Kurt Maloo.
That's good to hear.
So what's going on now? What's your next plans? What I know you said you're doing your own videos and stuff like that. Do you have any new album projects in the works?
I'm writing some songs right now. Again, I started recently. You have to wait, and then there's a time where it's flowing again, and now I'm in the flow again. That's great. And I released a single with DJ Mike Jolly from the UK. It's called This One's For You. And Julian Marsh, a very famous house remixer of Miami, he remixed a song of mine from my last album. It's called Come Over Here. And he told me, I always wanted to do a house version of a bossa nova. And Come Over Here, originally on my last album, is a bossa nova. And he had the vision to make an up-tempo dance tune out of the song. And it turned out to be really great, but my voice sounded odd because it was like speeded up, was faster. And
little chipmunk on there?
Not chipmunk.
Not that bad, but
it's not technically it's now possible to make your voice sound the same, but it's not the same in the end because it just sounded too rushed. And so I sang it again, which is not usual for a remix. So it's rather a remake. But I so much loved what he did with his work, with his remix, that I sang it again, like relaxed in the new tempo. And this is also available now. It's called Come Over Here.
Now, where can people find that? Is it on iTunes?
iTunes, Amazon, wherever, Spotify, wherever you want.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. And I think that's kind of important, kind of segues into what we're going to talk about this next segment. What do you think about this current business methodology that we have now? Because it's definitely, like you mentioned, not the same anymore. You don't just go to major label. They give
not the same anymore.
Major labels just don't throw money, even at the big artists. They're really conservative compared to what they used to be before.
Yeah. Absolutely. Conservatives is very decent to give it a name. No, it's like it's like you have to pay everything on your own. That's the fact. You know, if I wouldn't produce my videos on my own, there would be no budget from any record company. Yeah. So I skipped record companies, actually. I am I'm now with my publisher, also with the double stuff. We are we have a direct distribution, which is digital. And you earn like at least 5 times more than when you're with a major. And this is like a new model that is possible. And I think this is okay, because before, the record companies, when they really believed in you, they put some money in their hands and they pushed the product. They gave you marketing money. They did something. They made advertisement in the radios and even on TV. But today they do nothing, and they just take 80% of the income, which doesn't make sense anymore for artists. That's why it's so much easier to just go for yourself. Yeah, it's possible.
Exactly. We had Ken Cragen on. I don't know if you remember Ken Cragen from the manager for Lionel Richie, Kenny Rogers, and We Are the World. He put that together. So, talking with Ken, who was a very major player with all the labels, that's exactly what he said. Is, unless you are Rihanna, where you kind of still need that machinery, don't try to go that direction. That's not a place to aim towards. And I think that's a good thing to talk to the the young people, because we have a lot of young listeners, and they're all trying to figure out how to make it in the business. And they're still talking with some of these 20-something-year-olds, thinking that, hey, if I get signed by this major label, that's my ticket. So
doesn't mean anything. It's just I mean, if you're a piece of soul. Is when you get signed, then get signed. It's okay, but not canonically. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And there's no, the great thing is there's just no, there's no rhyme and reason on sometimes on how you're going to make it. You just got to put out your best foot forward, and hope people kind of it resonates with people, and that they bring it in and they listen to it, and just I think it gives the artist a chance to just be themselves instead of trying to fit a mold or expectation that they that they have. I mean, your career history is based on that. It just let it be organic, and I think that's more the case now than ever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The only bad thing about it is that this new business model with the streaming services and all, they just don't make it possible for like jazz musicians, like all the musicians that are doomed to be in a niche because they make something very individual. They can't survive anymore. It's just not possible anymore. Before, when they sold like 100,000 CDs all over the world, they at least could make a living. But now, 100,000 streams, it's not enough. It's just, that's what I'm worrying about. That all these people that are like, because of what they are doing, they are in a niche. But it's great what they're doing. And before they could make a living, and now not anymore. This is like it's going to be a desert, I tell you.
Yeah, that is the tough part. We have a lot of jazz musicians, a lot of good friends actually I've made in the jazz world. Top players. One of my great friends, Michael O'Neill. The one thing is challenge them to do is look other areas to expand and express themselves. So Michael does a lot of soundtrack writing. And then a lot of these songs are available to have sync licensing. There's a lot of fun things that are going on. Man, that I just realized that it's that time again, man. It's been too short, Kurt. We have to have you back, brother.
Yeah, but it was a great pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, man. This has been the Changing Stage radio show, powered by EnterTalk Radio Networks, the leader in music business talk. Definitely, we'll bring you back, man. Appreciate it. SIR, Pitbull Audio, you guys rock. Make sure you
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, to all the new shows on EnterTalk Radio. Check out EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and you know, Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration becomes so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, she still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.